Feel me?
All right, so let's go to Trill. So what's your relationship is with like Boosie and Whitney?
Well, I mean, what my relationship is, it's the same. You know, like them dudes, like my brothers, like because we got a chance to bond because we was together when it wasn't all good.
Yeah.
Like we struggled together. Like we came up together. The only thing, like I say, I was probably in and out of jail, but you know, they knew I was with them. They knew, you know, what it was hitting for. And like every time I came home, like I was back right there in the mix. And it was kind of different because, you know, Boo was Boo, Webby was Webby. Like Boo pulled me into it.
Yeah.
And when Webby got into it, I was already into it. So it's like a difference. Like, and I was older. I was always big bruh to Boosie and Webby. But Boosie had his own circle because of his, you know, like, he wanted to be comfortable. So he wanted people around him he could be comfortable at all times. I understood that.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, he had his own big bros and little bros and all that came with him. Now, with Webby, you know, he was more so, like, new to the whole situation because he was still young. You know, like 15, 16. So he was still new to the whole situation. And, you know, I think, like, I watched him become a superstar. You know what I'm saying? So it's different when you watch somebody like me and Boo, like we bumped their heads in the streets a few times, you know, but he was still lit Boo, but he wasn't lit bruh at the time because, you know, this all street. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? And like when Loke was jumping off, C-Loke, shout out to C-Loke, when he was jumping off, Lee Lucas was jumping off. Lee Lucas had Ain't No Cut Records, him and Mark, and you know, Loke had this thing going on, and you know, Loke, we used to hook up in the game room on certain days, and Loke would do his, let them know what he was coming with, and we'll do our and let them know what we was coming with. But you know, Loke was already Loke, so he was in the head, and he was bringing that fire every time, like songs like Who Gon' Ride, and you know, stuff like that. It's whatever, you know, like, and when he was doing them, we coming up with songs, but we coming up with like, you know, street songs, hustling songs, you know, like, so, you know, Lee was an inspiring person in the music business, but it's just that he got pulled out the music game because of other things. But you know, like we was doing that, they was doing that, so Boo wasn't even in the picture yet. Yeah. So, you know, like I had to go to jail a couple times because it was in and out of jail young, but then Loke had brought Boo out. And you know, that was raw. Like the impact was so raw in the hood because Loke already had the hood locked. So it was more of an impact when Boo came with him because that was like South Side. Like Max was raw, Vaughn was raw, you know, Lee Time was raw, but like Loke put on strictly for the South and Boo like followed up. And you know, they was kind of sort of like in the bottom. And you know, I'm in the top, you know, I'm uptown, you know, it's really just me, you know, but you know, like I was just putting on and our relationship started then really because once Boo got the city on lock, he knew I was in the equation somewhere if I was free. Yeah. So, you know, he was like, man, we might as well hook up. You know, ain't no sense in us not hooking up. So that was my mission. And you know, like it still never really went like that. Like that's why I don't give up. Like with me and him and Webby and stuff like that. That's why I still be pushing for that this many years later because we never really did that. Like what we planned to do. You know, like how me and Boosie was gonna drop a CD called The Superheroes, Southside Superheroes was supposed to be one, and then years later we were supposed to drop The Have Nots. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know, we wanted to do that. That's what we wanted to do. But, you know, it never got around to what we wanted to do. So I'm like, hey, you know, if we still in it this many years later, let's do what we want to do.
You think it'll still be a possibility?
I don't know. I don't know if it'll still be a possibility. But like I say, I don't even really do it for if it's a possibility. Yeah. I do it because for the people who didn't get an opportunity to get that possibility. So I just try to keep that, let people know I'm with it. It's not me that's not with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I just try to let them know. And like a poster came up, me, Boosie, Webby, Fox, Trill, I think, you know, like with Bulls or whatever. And you know, I thought it was creative, and they had me Rodman, Boosie was Pippen, Webby was Jordan, Trill was, you know, like, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just it's just a picture, so I'm glad to be a part of it. Like, I don't care what you say, negative, whatever, I'm glad to be a part of it. So hey, boom, boom, boom. But anyway, so, you know, there goes that. So then it's a situation about that. So I'm like, well, okay, cool. I'm not tripping about that. So I hit Hawk up. Yeah, I did. He Hawk up. Look, make me one of them. But I just want me, Boo, and Webby. Because I believe we can do that. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, if we don't do it, it ain't gonna happen. So there they go. I think y'all need to put this person on. Where Fox, or, you know, where Fat, you know, where Shell, you know, like, bro, I got love for them dudes. You feel me? Like I say, Fat, like my brother, rest in peace, Lil Fat. When I go see my mama, I can't see my mama without passing his grandmother, bro. And when I see my family, I see his family. We like family.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, you know, Shell, you know, like, he from that city, so you know he got to do his thing in that city. But you know, like, it's kind of different with us and with me, Boo and Webby, because like me, Boo and Webby always wanted to lead. You know, we didn't want to take part in what was going on. We just end up taking part in it. Like, we had to accept each other. You feel what I'm saying? Like, in the beginning, we had to accept each other. Like, how you gonna accept somebody at your table when your plate ain't full?
Yeah.
You feel me? You like, man, you putting another plate on the table? My plate ain't full. Yeah, so that had to be accepted. But like I say, Boo pulled me in. He didn't mind. Like, he didn't, it wasn't about that then. So then, there go Webby. Like, I'm like, shh, open arms. Me and Boo, we open arms. So then, there comes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now, I'm stuck between me, Boo, and Webby, because we know what took place before everything else came upon. You feel me? So I'm stuck between them and what's everything else that's going on. So somewhere in there, my career got lost. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Like, just being honest. Like, okay, it's like, okay, this supposed to happen. Now, this with Boosie. Okay, you and Boosie. It don't happen. Okay, boom. No tripping. This, you, Webby, and Boosie. This supposed to go down. Don't happen. I ain't tripping. Boom. Now, this, you, Webby, and Boosie again. Don't go down. Boom. I ain't tripping. So now come the next go round, it's more people and more individuals involved. So it's like, well, you know it ain't gonna go down now. Especially when you dealing with a label that's getting involved, that's getting a family involved. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying?
You think like, they play a role while you really ain't take it to the next level?
Definitely. I definitely say that play a role in it, because when you know you got somebody like me a part of what you got going on, but at the same time you know that I got my heart and my hood and, you know, my struggle, all that involved, you definitely know that plays a part in it, because I need that. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? You know I need that, but it's like, but you know, I wanna. It's two things that play the biggest parts in it. One was me. You feel me? Like, I wasn't looking at it from a business point of view when I wasn't there. When I didn't fulfill my obligations by not being there. You feel what I'm saying? I wasn't looking at that. So half of it was my fault because when like I say, I got out of jail, me and Boo went in the lab, next thing you know, I went back in jail. But like I said, if I would have got a bag then, I wouldn't have never went back. And after the second time, I wouldn't have never went back because I wasn't going for nothing but hustle.
Yeah.
Convicted felon with a firearm and chasing that bag. Every time. Every conviction. If you look on my rap sheet, all of my convictions, chasing that bag, convicted felon with a firearm. And not saying the firearm is for to protect what you accumulate, not to hurt nobody. So I think they need to change the law because we out here in Baton Rouge, convicted felons, we can't tote that strap. We get caught with a strap, that's an automatic jolt for us. Feel me? If not too long ago I saw somebody that was finna try to either break in my car or break in my house, and I had to go stop him before he did it because from number one, I didn't want to hurt him, and from number two, I knew I was gonna hurt myself if I did. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't even have a right to protect myself without the consequence of getting locked up from bearing a firearm, and I'm a convicted felon when I never did nothing aggressive with a firearm to show like I used it to try to harm somebody or put fear in somebody. But let alone now that the whole city is full of fear and the cops don't even know how to control it, but they do know that they got black men that's myself that done lived through it, that want to make a change for the better, but it's hard because they can't protect themselves. How I'm gonna go in the middle of the hood and try to preach to these dudes strapless with no protection? Only protection I got is God. You feel me? And that's enough. But don't get me wrong. Like, you gotta have will too. You gotta have all that in place. So I can't, they make it hard. That's hard enough. But that's just another issue on another page, on another interview, or another DVD. Because, like I say, they got black men that change for the better, that want to do right, that have been doing right, ain't been getting arrested, ain't been going to jail. And when they did, it ain't had nothing to do with, had nothing to do with trying to harm nobody or put fear in nobody. But yet and still, they ain't came up with a resolution for those men to protect themselves.
Let me tell you something, being a felon, they need to take that off the job resume and all that. Because that really will set people back automatic. Because if you go fill out for a job interview, they see a felon, they going to throw that in the trash.
Pretty much. Man. Pretty much so. And they thought they made it easier by saying 7 years. See, it's 7 years to get a good job. And it's 10 years to get it off your record. So they not looking at why it was on you. They don't give a. So to all the people who copping out, thinking that they doing the right thing, keep that in mind because they don't give a what the situation was or why you got that conviction. They just looking at the conviction and saying we don't have to hire him because of that conviction. We don't have to hire her because of that conviction. They not looking at like she stole that milk for her baby to get that conviction. They not looking at it like, he stole that milk for his son or whatever, those diapers. They not looking at it like that. They not looking at it from a struggle baby point of view. They just looking at the conviction and saying we don't have to help you, or you got that conviction, you can't carry a firearm. But they not looking at why, because they the system. The same people who give you the convictions, the same people who give you the firearms, all that, they the system. So they looking at it by the system. They don't gotta judge you. They don't have to read how your situation was. They just look at the system and how the system works, and that's how you get played from how the system. It's not personal. Stay in school.